Hello, this is Aaron Rosen, your local real estate expert in Northern California. Today, I just wanted to go over a few interesting articles that I found here. No laughing matter. Ellen DeGeneres sells Cliffside LA mega mansion for $96 million. That's quite the sale right there. Ellen DeGeneres had just sold off one of her most impressive LA homes for a staggering $96 million, earning herself a hefty $26 million profits on the price she paid for the mega mansion just 2 years ago. So she made $13 million in 2 years. That's $1 million a month. Now that is quite the sale. Um, I just wanted to show you this because there's really been a huge just bifurcation in the market. A lot of the luxury sales that are for investments have just been propping up the rest of the market and really carrying it. So I just found these two other articles, which I found quite interesting. The total home value in this California city just crossed $1 trillion for one city. Now, that's quite amazing to me. Anaheim's housing market has reached a significant milestone, joining the exclusive group of U.S. metro areas with homes totaling value exceeding $1 trillion. And so Ellen DeGeneres' home isn't in Anaheim. It says LA here. I'm from Northern California, so I don't know all these areas like inside and out. But it's homes like these. $100 million homes is a billion. So there is definitely just these huge homes out there. And a lot of the homes down there are, $1 million a piece. So that's going to be just adding up so fast in all of this. So that's just quite a interesting piece of news here. So I was just looking, and the U.S. housing market nears 50 trillion in value as a number of trillion-dollar metros doubles. So, from an investment standpoint, if you had bought a home in a metro, then you can see that it had just appreciated astronomically. Do I think that that is going to continue? I actually don't. It's very, very complicated about how cities rise and fall and all that type of stuff. But even with COVID and the work from home, with politics, with a bunch of different factors, home prices, a lot of people are, leaving cities. And I think that that's going to bring the value down. When on a microcosmic level, I see that one city will become kind of popular at a time. I'm in Santa Rosa here, and houses in Marin and Santa Rosa, it was so hot. Everybody was getting 30 offers on their house. It was an amazing time for sellers. This is a couple years ago during COVID. And then all of that cheap inventory got bought up, and then everyone looked over to Guerneville and said, wow, look at this place. This place is still cheap. So, the primary place that everyone wants to be along the 101 close to San Francisco, when that all gets bought up, then everyone shifts over to Guerneville or wherever's next. And then it got pushed over to Napa, and it got pushed into Lake County and up into Mendocino County. And, Ukiah had great appreciation, but it took a little bit longer. So that microcosm there, I think, will happen on a larger level. And it has been happening on states. For states as well. California had a huge increase in its housing prices, and a lot of people just sold out, and then they went to other states. If you are forced to be in the state for some job or personal reason like family, then you moved up here in the North Bay or out to the country a little bit, because what you get basically is you get double the amount of house for every hour that you drive out of a major metropolitan area. In San Francisco, it was $1,000 to $1,200 a square foot, and now up here it's more like $500-$600 a square foot. So you get significantly more house for your dollar. I think that this is going to end up playing out across the United States, and I expect that this 50 trillion. Just my kind of gut instinct is that over the next 10 years, probably 10 trillion, $5 to $10 trillion worth of housing will be spread across the various areas. Tech is not like manufacturing, for example. manufacturing, you have to show up to the factory, right? It's in the word. Tech by nature is more digital. So, it's a whole nother discussion on how much tech will carry the economy. Are we going back to a manufacturing, as Peter Zeihan would say? If we're going back to manufacturing, that will also help the rural areas, not extremely rural, but kind of the outside areas of cities, because let's face it, you don't want a Tesla gigafactory, for example, downtown San Francisco. First of all, the real estate's too expensive, and there's smog, there's all kinds of crime and different factors as to why you want it outside. So if you're a fan of Peter Zeihan's work, for example, he thinks that there's going to be a huge onshoring, and there actually has been. There's been about $30 trillion worth of factories that have been built over in China during that whole China-America relations period. And now a lot of that is being redone in America. So that would help to take away some of that housing value from the city and put it to the rural. So I think, depending on a lot of factors, and honestly, there's a political black hole here. It's hard to know what'll happen on the other side of the election, but most likely we'll have a revitalization of the American industry, and that will bring prices up in the rural areas. There are a couple of rural areas which I could point out that have huge potential. Over in Fairfield, I believe, in Vacaville, they're actually flying in. They're moving companies from across the world so they can have a shorter supply chain to help with a company that has a really good success rate in curing cancer. So this is just one thing where they have chosen a relatively small town, and there's going to be a huge boom in Vacaville for housing over the next 10 years. So these are just the type of factors. If you're an investor, if you're thinking about buying or selling houses, these are good things to consider. So, as always, I hope you found this information useful. And if you have any questions, all of my contact information is below. Thank you much.